Good morning. Today is, what is today? Have you had that problem lately? Today is Wednesday, May 27th. March seemed to take forever to get through. April was almost as slow. But it seems to me that May has started to move a lot faster. And I kind of think that's where we are as a whole society right now. It appears as though we are beginning to move back into something closer to normal. Our world is beginning to open up. Society is beginning to open up. We're beginning to do things that we were once doing before. Um, for our Sunday worship time, um, a week ago, we met for the first time after being closed up for so long, and we had a total of about 30 in the two services. I might just say here, I have a great deal of respect for the way our elders have handled this situation because they have given us the opportunity to meet in one of two services so that we are socially separated. And in doing it that way, it's given permission for everybody to do what they're comfortable in doing. If you are comfortable in being back in worship, then that is terrific. And we hope that you will be here. If you are not comfortable in being back yet, you can continue to worship with us live streaming on Sunday morning. And so this gives permission for everybody to do what they are most comfortable with. We want to be respectful of each other. And certainly there are those in high risk groups that are needing to be especially watchful right now. I know that in our household, Carolyn and I both fit in that category of those who are carrying around too many birthdays. And so we are having to be very watchful and careful of that. So we're not back yet, but I'm certainly looking forward to the time that we are because this is it just comes down to the fact I miss everybody. I want to see everybody's face. But the fact is that we're all beginning to move back together. And we understand that we have been through a most unusual experience. It's been a time of challenge, and we have talked about fear and loneliness and uncertainty. But this has also been a time of opportunity. What have you gotten to do that you were just too busy to do before? Even if you're one of these people who has worked all the way through this experience, a lot of other places have been closed, and therefore you haven't been out mixing it up with the public nearly as much as you might have been before. And so we probably have all had some extra time. And the question is, what have you gotten to do that you would not have had time to do otherwise? Some of you have started applying yourself to some wonderful yard work. It's the right time of year for that. Maybe spending more time with your family. That's always a constructive thing if you handle it correctly. Maybe you've cleaned out a closet or a sock drawer. I heard it said the other day that never in the history of America have there been so many organized sock drawers as there are right now. Nevertheless, I hope that you've been able to do something. So now is a time, as we begin to move back together, now is a time to solidify some of those things that we have been doing that we want to hang on to. There are a lot of things that we kind of just put off or we needed to revise, and now that we've done them, we kind of feel good about it. But I might also suggest that this is a good time for a few more things to get accomplished before we are all back together. First of all, now is a great time for purging, cleaning out a garage, cleaning out a closet, but on a much deeper level. Maybe it's time to clean your heart out of some ugly debris. Do you need to forgive someone? Do you need to stop a bad habit? Do you need to clear your mind of the clutter of worry? If you go through this experience and if you accomplish something like that, wouldn't this have been worthwhile in your life to have taken that step of purging something that needed to be purged. Secondly, this might be a really good time to establish a wanted habit. This kind of goes back to starting to do things that we haven't had time for before, but nearly all of us have thought, I need to have more Bible study time. Well, I hope you establish that habit so that on a regular basis you are studying the Bible. Or maybe you need a better prayer life. Or maybe you just need to spend more constructive time with your family. Again, if you came out of this time of isolation having established something that good as a part of your regular life, wouldn't you be proud of that? Or maybe this is a good time to resolve some great issue in your mind. A Bible question that you have always wondered about. Delve into that and get an answer. Maybe there is a spiritual conflict within you that needs some kind of resolution. Maybe there is some matter of conscience that needs to be resolved. Or maybe this is a great time, I'm sure this is a great time, it always is, to come up with an answer to give someone who asks about the hope that is in you. Peter writes that that is exactly what we as Christians are supposed to do. Be ready always to give an answer for the hope that is in you. Maybe you need to give some thought to that. Many people are afraid that others are going to ask them something about their faith because they feel like they don't know enough. Well, let me suggest a very specific exercise to do. Think about a question that you're afraid someone might ask you. Now, you got to be really honest with yourself and write that question down. And then go about coming up with an answer that's going to be a good answer if anyone ever asks you that question. I don't know if anyone ever will ask you, but you are going to go about with greater spiritual confidence if you have an answer for that question. Likelihood is that you resolve that question, there will be another and then another. But start with a question that you're afraid someone might ask you and come up with an answer for that. If you need to do some very special study on that, if you need access to some special information on that, we are certainly available for that. But most of us can just, by looking in our Bibles, by doing some study with things that we already have, we can come up with some kind of an answer. But if you just need to talk about that question, then let's talk about it. But think about what you're afraid someone might ask and then come up with an answer for that. Wouldn't it be a great accomplishment to come through this time having taken that step in your life so that you are no longer afraid of someone asking you that question? All of us have probably had something that we wanted to do or learn or resolve. Well, what better time is there to do that than right now? I suspect also when we get back to normal, and honestly, I'm afraid to use that word anymore. I don't know what normal is anymore, but when we get back to something akin to normality, I'm going to guess that a lot of people are going to say, look back at this time and they're going to say, well, why didn't I during that time do whatever? So let's take this opportunity to do something good, to do something useful. Let's do something that we can be proud of later. I hope that you will let today, this day, be the day that you take that first positive step in a good direction so that you are going to be better tomorrow than you are today. Time of construction. It's not just a time of isolation. We can be pleased that God gives us the opportunity to, on a daily basis, be renewed in Him. So let today be that day of a good positive step. Bye for now.